But delighted to welcome everybody to our latest in our series of Ship Management International industry podcasts. And we're delighted to have in our studio today Paul Morgan, who is head of engineering at GTMaritime. Paul brings with him more than 18 years of experience leading high-performing technology teams and driving innovation across complex, fast-moving industries. And his appointment last October at GTMaritime reflects the company's continued commitment to investing in technology leadership as it strives to deliver secure, reliable, and innovative solutions to the global maritime sector. And with a hands-on leadership style and focus on people development, Paul has a proven track record of transforming technology into a key driver of business growth. And at GTMaritime, he will play a central role as the innovative technology company continues its global expansion. And GTMaritime's investment in technology leadership positions the company to deliver even greater value to customers and to continue pioneering secure, cutting-edge communication solutions for the maritime industry. Welcome, Paul.
Feel quite humble, feel quite embarrassed.
Well, it's funny, actually, when you say they're 18 years of experience. And I think really that's really, it sort of all counts for a lot of things, because when you've been in the industry, in different aspects of the industry for that period of time, you do learn a lot. It is best practice. You are, increasing your knowledge base and your skill sets. And when somebody sits down and puts it down in a biog like that, you think, oh, wow, God, that's quite interesting. But no, welcome indeed. And shipping at the moment, Paul, and you and I have talked about this in the past, but shipping is really, really embracing digitalisation a lot at the moment. There's a lot of exciting stuff going on. But could you, before we sort of get into some of the questions here, and I know some of our listeners are going to be interested in getting your perspective on the market and the sector. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and also about your role at GTMaritime? You're head of engineering. What does that mean?
Yeah, sure. So, head of engineering, been there nearly 9 months now. It's flown by. It's been really exciting. My job really is to make sure that we deliver quality products quickly and that the engineering team is healthy and well supported while doing that. Been in technology for over 30 years, but technology leadership, I'd say, for 20 years across a range of sectors. I think in my time at GT, what's really pleased me is both how the team have evolved to achieve great quality while maintaining deliverables against deadline and delivering 3 products in the last 8-9 months, which are really helping the maritime sector tremendously.
So having a good team around you, crucial. But when you talk about 3 products that they started to develop, could you give us a little bit of an insight into those? But also, how in touch with the industry needs are you at GT? Because the demands from the industry are changing all the time, aren't they?
Yeah, sure. So we've been in the industry for 25 years, and one of the things we pride ourselves on is people who understand the industry. They're the ones who make the biggest decisions around everything that we do. We've got one developer who's worked in this industry for 17 years, and our CEO has been around almost as long. So, we're people who understand maritime, understand the challenges of maritime, and want to make solutions to overcome those challenges within maritime.
And this is an area that the industry is going in. We want to be providing solutions for that, because the industry is moving very quickly as far as digitalisation is concerned. There are always new demands coming through, presumably.
Yeah, there's 2 elements on. The first element is talking to customers and getting that customer feedback and making sure that we're building solutions that the customers actually want. And that's absolutely key. And then the second element of that is the innovation side of it. There's the famous quote that Henry Ford never ever said, which was, if I asked everybody what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse. And so some of it is down to us experimenting and being innovative and saying, do we think this would work in maritime? And coming up with the prototypes and then sanity testing them against customer expectations. So we're pushing ourselves as much as customers are pushing us.
Didn't he also say that you can have any colour you like as long as it's black?
Yeah, he's reported to have said that. But again, I don't know if he actually said that. But the one about the fast horse, I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that he didn't actually say that.
How did you first get involved with the company and really attract you to maritime technology? Because, maritime is, and I talk to people in the industry and friends of mine, and they go shipping about it and whatever, and they have no idea the crucial role it plays in molding all of our lives, 90% of everything we consume, etc. Why maritime?
Yeah, so So my previous role was in a state agency, which feels as far away from maritime as it possibly be. But essentially, where I worked, we had the head office, and we had over 106 branches, which were all kind of connected somehow, but those connections would fail. And while lives are not at stake as they are in maritime, often we're moving people who are in very difficult situations. There might be situations where you're not allowed to tell one side of the home moving party what's going on with the other side. And this can be very difficult, fragile relationships. And it struck me that there's a parallel there in terms of the need to protect the branch, the endpoint, and the reason why they're doing that, and what the core, the shoreside I&O team are actually doing. And it felt that my experience of managing this state agency network at 7-figure states in the UK, so reasonably large, managing all of that network and managing their development team fitted really well with what GT want to do, which is effectively, I know they're not houses at sea, that'd be wrong to say that, but the challenges are very similar. So the fact that I was going to be leading a software development team, which is where my passion is, creating software that effectively I would have used as also the director over the infrastructure operations team, felt like a really, really close alignment. So it was more the alignment of the job than the industry, but the industry certainly helped once I compared the parallels. Then on top of that, in my last job, we did an awful lot of work with AI. So there was a feeling that I could bring some of that experience to help maritime at this time where everything, as you say, is quite rightly progressing technologically. There's a real kind of, it feels like there's a turbo boost at the moment, particularly, when I talk to people.
Yeah, I want to come on to AI in about 5 or 10 minutes time, a few little areas we can touch on there because it's incredibly exciting, all about the sort of the driving innovation, but saving time, driving and efficiencies and what have you. Just looking at, and actually that analogy there you had with houses at sea, the ships are often referred to as offices at sea, because they are, I'm bang on the same hymn sheet with you on that. And it's a great comparison actually there, Paul, for that. Looking at GT Maritime, for those who aren't familiar with GT Maritime, how would you describe the business that it's doing and the role that it plays in maritime? And been its key to its longevity? You talk about it's been around for so many years and its success. So what is it? What does it do? And why has it been so successful as a company, do you think?
I think the success is layered. The highest layer is understanding maritime, understanding the challenges that the shoreside infrastructure and operations team face in order to maintain vessel IT, and then there's challenges around communication and networking. The next is the approach to security. So this idea of preventing every intercepting communications could be broken at any time. So the ability to take something, compress it so it's small as possible, encrypt it so it's as safe as possible, and then transmit it in a way that if that link is broken, it resumes at the very, when as soon as it can, and therefore the communication is seamless. And then layering useful solutions on top of that infrastructure is what's enabled GT to grow over the years, that core belief in protecting the communication. And then from there, we build tools that are useful. So the email tool, the infrastructure operations management tool, the AI tools, all those kind of things. To give an example, we know that vessel owners want captains looking out the window. We don't want them staring at their emails, reading their emails, scratching their head, trying to work out what the email is trying to say. So one of our most recent products is an AI tool that analyzes the email and gives the captain a succinct, actionable summary so they can spend more time looking out the window.
That's actually making AI work for you. And I can see a real benefit in that. Sometimes, even though we're surrounded by technology and innovation and development, we still have to go back to basics. And that is looking out the window if you're doing that type of job, because that's your role. It's a safety issue. It's being aware of everything around you. Looking at the industry itself and your customers, what challenges are the customers facing at the moment that perhaps weren't as significant 5 or 10 years ago, would you say, Paul? Because we're all bombing down this digitalisation motorway at 1,000 miles an hour. But what challenges are they facing today that's maybe sort of unique to what we're doing today?
I feel that that's a difficult question for me to answer with my limited experience in the industry, given I've been in it for 9 months. So I think what I'll do is I'll draw on some parallels. I would say that the change in the way that network management is happening. So, for example, the introduction of Starlink and faster communications, but faster communications for a period, and then the guarantees stop and all that kind of stuff. That's enabling teams to be able to do more shoreside than they used to be able to do. And I think the second change is around how do we make practical use of the new technologies. It's always been a case of how to make practical use of technology, how to deliver outcomes that are useful. The fact that a smartphone came along, that's an evolution from the car phone. And nowadays the idea of ringing a place to see if somebody is there just seems alien because you just ring the person. And it's trying to work out how newer technologies are going to help us given the challenges that we have. So I'm not really sure I've answered your question. I think networking and new technologies are really driving the change and the pace of change. And it feels like everything's going faster, but really I think it feels like new technologies are coming along faster and we've got to find solutions, got to find where they can fit in.
And I think really the industry is moving at different speeds, isn't it? You've got elements that are early adopters, massive embracers of technology, and then you've got sectors of the industry like some of the Greek ship owners who still not avoid, but don't embrace digitalisation as much as they should do, preferring to still ring up the captains and know the captain's name and do it on a very personal basis. But of course, regulation, charterers, other elements within the supply chain are forcing change on all components there.
That's no different though from a bunch of estate agents, one in the Cotswolds and one in the city. One's embracing change and the other, is creating relationships. And it's the same across the board.
You look at estate agency business. I mean, the one area that's really, really fascinating is that 20 years ago, my local estate agent would stick a sign outside my house and a picture of my house in their window. But now they're all on Rightmove. They're all promoting it around the country. So somebody in London wanting to maybe move up to Buckinghamshire can see my house, that wouldn't necessarily sit.
Yeah, you don't need to buy the Princess Risborough Gazette, do you? Technology is changing things as we move all the time.
Looking at the ways that the operators and the owners are managing their vessels and their IT infrastructure, what interesting changes are you seeing or developments are you seeing there? Where are you seeing interest from the customer base saying we want a bit more of this, or can we do this, or are they pushing you as much as you as a service provider pushing them as far as solutions are concerned?
I think they're trying to create, from what I hear and see, we're being pushed towards trying to create automation that is sensible and matters. So, for example, if a company is renting the ships rather than owning the ships, how do they make sure that the ships that they've got, the IT estate on there is manageable and secure for a period of time, and then left in such a way that they're not going to get charged for it. So I think it's all about that manageability of fleet. And I guess that's probably always been the case. It sounds really obvious, but the making it easy to manage the fleet is where we're being pushed.
But that's a very, very interesting point there. And you're exactly right, because if I come in and I charter a ship for a voyage, I need to know that the systems on board are robust, secure, all of that side of it for that one voyage, and that when I come on, it's not going to leak and give out my data, or I'm not going to get cyber attacks, or I'm not going to get, things stopping and breaking and all the rest of it. And equally, when I finish with that charter, that the data that I've been handling on board the ship is then dealt with and is secure and is safe and all the rest of it. So you've raised a valid point there, actually, because there's a lot of ships that are on the spot market, and it's interesting to see how they're coping with it,
Yeah, which is where our solutions squarely fit, in the idea of either you own your own vessels or you're chartering vessels or you're chartering a captain and he has the vessel. Whatever the model is, our software needs to work within all of those solutions, and all those different types of customers are pushing us to create solutions that work equally with each model. And that's what's really interesting.
So before we come on to the whole issue of sort of a little bit more on the AI side, I just want to get your views on the vision behind the GT Hub platform. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, sure. So GT Hub, again, is an infrastructure and operations shoreside tool to help shoreside IT teams manage infrastructure estate on a vessel, and it comes in 3 layers. So the first layer is inform, so it tells you what's on there, tells you whether it's secure or not, and helps you make decisions on what to do about the on vessel IT estate, or on vessels IT estate. The second layer is what we call operate, and that's to do with improving what's on there. So taking action. So Inform might tell you that the Windows operating system needs updating. It might tell you that the version of Chrome is not secure. It might tell you that some vital piece of software needs updating. That's Inform. Operate will enable you to then go ahead and update that piece of software. It'll enable you to take action on a vessel, do a disk defrag or tidy up some data or clean data as you leave, whatever it may be. So that's operate. And then the third tier is what we call AI sysadmin. And the idea is that all the data we're receiving, our cloud servers, AI analyzes all that data and creates recommendations to the shoreside team. So instead of the shoreside team looking for patterns, the AI identifies the patterns and recommends an action. So from there, they take the action and the AI can execute the action either this time or every time. And it's down to the shoreside team to do. And that's the products we're currently working on. In terms of Operate and Inform, they're already in place, and the AI sysadmin is what we're building now.
Now, on the AI side, are these AI systems that you are developing and your team is developing yourselves, or is it stuff that may be available out there in the market that you're integrating within existing platforms and stuff like that? How does it work?
The AI engine itself, we will take a commercial AI engine, but we will build on the intelligence of read this data, do this thing. And then, of course, when it comes to data security, we will only use AI engines that enforce data security, that enforce the security of our customers. So we're really careful about which AIs we choose to work with and how we choose to work with them. We use anonymization techniques in there as well to protect customers. But ultimately, it's about trying to identify an action, identify how to solve the action, and then giving a human the choice about what you want to do about solving this action.
Now, looking at sort of IMO and IACS cyber requirements, from the industry, from regulators and what have you, do the sort of regulations or the requirements go far enough to address the risks created by AI in everyday maritime operations? I love AI. I'm, an advocate of it. I think it's absolutely amazing. How many times I listen to articles on the radio where people say, "Oh, we've got to be wary of it, and it's going to be doing this, and it's going to be doing that." So Paul, we're talking about here about AI and about the role that is playing within industry. But it's always been said to me that digitalisation, innovation, new technology, artificial intelligence is great, but you still need humans. You still need human interaction. What's your sort of views on that? Because you can't have one without the other, can you? You still have to have that harmony, working in harmony.
Absolutely. I firmly believe that you need the human in the loop for a number of reasons. The first obvious reason is that AI doesn't always get it right. So we've all tried a chatbot, an AI chatbot, and it's suggested an answer, and we sort of think, well, that's not quite right. It needs to be something else. So AI doesn't always get it right, and of course we work hard to put guardrails in place to get it to be right as often as possible. Ultimately, though, there is an element of legal accountability on a lot of the things that we do and vessels at sea do. And you need a human in the loop in order to maintain that level of accountability. Someone needs to take responsibility for the action that is taken. So therefore, someone needs to take responsibility for the action that AI is taking. And that human needs to choose whether they want to approve the AI action every time or approve the AI action this specific time and check it. So there's always that element of accountability that never goes away.
And that's a valid point. Do you have those sort of robust testing procedures in place all the time to ensure that answers or the solutions it's coming up with are right?
Absolutely. Plus the audit trails that explain how the AI got to the decision it's promoting, plus also the clarity on the recommendation. So it's really important to us. I can give you a kind of nerdy example if you want. We use AI for bug fixing, and of course we don't have many bugs, but when they do come in, we ask AI to fix it. And when we first started doing this, what we found was that AI, when it was fixing a bug, it only got it right 36% of the time. So 64% of the time AI would get the bug fix wrong and the human would have to do something about it. But because we've put the guardrails in place, because we've learned those lessons, and because we've applied the right thinking to how we use AI, we're now down at 11%. Now, most people think of IT as something that works the same every single time. It's repetitive, it's dependable, it always works in a certain way. And AI is not like that. AI, to some extent, is a lot like dealing with a person. People do make mistakes. That's why we have managers, that's why we have policies, processes, checks and balances. We have a whole legal system around people, making mistakes. So if we accept that AI will make mistakes, it's really about following the same rules that we use as humans, the guardrails around what they do, the principles, the policies, the frameworks, so that we can guide AI to try not to make mistakes and surface what it's doing, so that way we can capture it before it makes a mistake. And that's why people in the loop are so important.
That is fascinating. And yeah, I mean, even with my limited experience on things like, Chat or Claude or whatever, you're exactly right. It is that checks and balances, but it's fascinating. You will get to a situation where AI is giving you what you want because you are also overseeing it, and that makes an awful lot of sense.
There is power, isn't there, in an AI being more accurate than a human, but still having the human oversight. Because those two people combined means that the number of errors still comes down more. But we accept that AI gets wrong and humans get it wrong. So there'll still be a margin of error, but it'll be a lot smaller than now.
Finally, just looking from an industry macro perspective, if I was talking to you in a year or 18 months' time, with the way that the industry is moving as far as digitalisation is concerned, what would you like to be telling me, and what do you think you'll be telling me?
18 months.
A year to 18 months' time.
Yeah, no, 18 months is a long time because AI is doubling in power every 8 months. So it's a really interesting question. What would a 4 times as powerful AI now be able to do than 4 times than now? It's quite an exciting concept to think about. I think really though, what I'd like to be is a place where helping make good decisions more frequently. Yeah. So be that around the emails that are going through our platform and making good decisions on that, be it around how infrastructure operations teams on the shores support the vessels, be that around how OT networks are managed and supported. Whatever it is, it's about making good decisions and delivering good outcomes more frequently. And that's what excites me about what's coming down the road technology-wise.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And it is going to be a fascinating time. And we will have that conversation in 18 months' time, Paul. It's going to be It'll be interesting, actually, to see. But I didn't realize it's doubling or whatever every 8 months or whatever you said. It's always increasing fourfold every 8 months. I mean, that's incredible.
Twice every 8 months. So
twice every 8 months.
Yeah, so in 16 months it'll be twice. Yeah, but what was that Bill Gates saying? Was it 5 years away is further than you think, but 2 years away is closer than you think. So I'll have all of this quite soon.
Fascinating stuff. And Paul, it's been brilliant talking to you. And just to remind our listeners that the podcast is available on our shipmanagementinternational.com website, along with other podcasts which you can download. So please get your friends and colleagues to listen to it. It's also available on Spotify, so that's great. But Paul, it's been lovely talking to you.
Thank you for having me.
And welcome to the industry. And yeah, it's an exciting time. I mean, I really wish I was in your sector, with all the opportunities ahead. But no, we look forward to catching up with you again in the near future. And thank you for your time today.
No, thank you all for having me. It's on my side of the fence. It's never been a better time to be a nerd. Thank you.